Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for this segment, we have Gianarikas, Managing Director and Senior Analyst with Canaccord Genuity, to discuss investment opportunities in the sustainability landscape. George, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. And of course, great timing for us considering Climate Week NYC is next week. So I want to get your thesis on the sustainability economy in general. Where do you think the opportunities are for investors?
The sustainability sector is probably, in our opinion, the greatest investment opportunity since the rise of the internet in the late 90s and early 2000s. And I think we bring a unique perspective. I was a tech analyst for many years before I did this. And so there are several lessons learned from the last 20 years of covering technology and having a front row seat into the birth of the internet, whether it's communications, technologies, et cetera. And markets have behaved incredibly similarly. There's a period of euphoria for a while now with some discontent and disillusionment. But underneath the surface, we think there are incredible opportunities. And over the next several years, similar to what we saw with the rise of Google or Amazon or Facebook, we think the next large mega cap companies in the world will come from our sector.
And understand you take something called the food chain approach to your coverage. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so similar to how I covered technology for many years, we've decided to cover companies across the sector, and that starts from the very top. We put a report out several months ago about autonomous driving, and so that's a very, very high level sector, all software and artificial intelligence, all the way down to natural resources that will enable the sustainable economy. We call that the great resource irony, because in some ways we're moving away from extractive industries, but also towards extractive industries like lithium mining and rare earth mining. And we also have a conference coming up at the end of the month in Sao Paulo that's based on natural resources.
So it's interesting that you bring that up because sustainability can be ambiguous, right? It's a broad term, and there's a number of verticals that live under that umbrella. So when you think about all the different subsectors, you would say ag tech, EVs are the ones that have the most promise, if you will?
EVs have a ton of promise, and they're obviously in the spotlight because Tesla, the largest company in our space, is in that sector and participates there. We call Tesla the sustainability behemoth because they do a little bit of everything, right? They're obviously driven by vehicle sales, but they also participate in autonomous driving, which we think is one of the most, will be one of the most productive technologies to ever be deployed in the world. And they also participate in solar, they participate in natural resources, they participate in battery technology, which is incredibly important to sustainability. So frankly, Tesla was part of it, or was my inspiration for changing from tech to sustainability, and is involved in pretty much almost every subsegment of the space.
Yeah, well, it's interesting with Tesla, right? I mean, it could be considered a car company. It's a consumer company. There's a great reading to the consumer, clearly a technology company. And then, of course, now the sustainability segment. I mean, it touches, I don't know, what, 4 of the 11 GIC sectors. It's really quite remarkable.
It is remarkable. And what's even more remarkable, despite the controversy around Elon Musk, I'm pretty confident all of this was intentionally built that way. I mean, he saw the lithium issue coming years and years ago. He saw autonomous driving being important years and years ago. And importantly, he saw the need for internal manufacturing years and years ago. I mean, at the end of the day, I think autonomy and the company's ability to manufacture at scale effectively will be its leading competitive advantage long term.
All right, George, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks for having me.